Hey y'all, my name is Shan. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is a series for Black fathers because Black fathers matter. Black fathers matter to me. Black fathers matter to my children. Black fathers matter when it comes to my brothers, my mentors, my friends. They matter because they set the tone for who our children look up to. They set the tone for how men, women, children, and other elderly people feel protected, feel like, everything they've struggled for was for a good cause because they've seen who they've become. And I want to, I just want to shine a light on them and hear from them in a perspective that sometimes goes unheard because no one cares to ask. Sometimes people look at fathers as if, oh, that's nothing. They're supposed to do that. Why would we, thank you for doing something you're automatically supposed to do? You shouldn't look for any, praise or any thank yous for that. That's standard. That's the basics. Do what you're supposed to do. But when you have a father that's there, that's consistent, that's available, that's attentive, that's caring, that's thoughtful, versus an absent father, versus a father that thinks his life and his now is more important than the child's future. There's a difference. There's a clear difference. And I just want to show appreciation. So this series, I've interviewed many fathers from different places, different backgrounds. And I really just want to pick their brains with different questions. So thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast, and I hope you enjoy. I will say this about Quan. Quan is a very involved father to the point where he wants to know the in and outs of his son. He has a good father-son relationship with his dad to the point where there's a mutual respect there. From what I get, his father really respects, how he's fathering and is there as a guide also still, even as a man. And I think that's a super key component when it comes to great fathers, successful fathers that are always willing to learn and try and get better, is having a father that's also showing them as an example that, hey, this is what I learned even, after raising you. There was a better way, and this is what I learned along the way. Let me help you. Let me, give you this insight. And for him to have that there is good. For him to have a supportive partner is key. For him to be able to decompress and really spend that quality time with his son and be able to teach him along the way is perfection. That's what we want. So I hope you guys can get some feedback about your parenting, about what it is to be a father from Quan's perspective, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Peace.
Hey, it's Anya Dula, and I am the host of Intercultured with Anya Dula. Intercultured with Anya Dula is a podcast that focuses on motherhood, culture, birth work, and travel. And it's just a place for women to come together to discuss our philosophies on motherhood, to discuss our work and birth work, if that's what we do, but mainly to bring women of all different cultures together so that we can talk about how we mother, how we #do motherhood, so that we can learn from one another and learn to love each other. That's really what it's all about. I hope you'll join us. Intercultured with Anya Dula podcast is available on all the major podcast stations. I hope you'll join us. Can't wait to connect.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
So this is Cozy Womb Podcast. This is episode 19 of Black Fathers Matter. We have Quan from OTR Podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed. Thankful to be on your podcast and everything. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. You know, when I did this, it came to me in the shower, and I was beating myself up because it was very last minute. It was like May 30th, last minute. Chantal, you should interview fathers all June. Girl, did you think you want to give me a heads up? So, like, I reached out, and I wasn't expecting all these dads to want to talk about it. But I'm glad you guys are talking and sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to pick your brain. So my first question for you is, where were you born?
Originally, I was born in Washington, D.C. Yep, D.C. native. Providence Hospital. I don't think they have it anymore. It was a long time ago, 1981. Yeah, so born in D.C. and, stayed in D.C. for a little while, then went from D.C. to New York, where I stayed in East Brooklyn for about, I want to say 8 to 9 years. And then I moved back out to Maryland, around to the Columbia area, and I've been out around the area ever since. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I used to live in Maryland when I was like 9, 10, 11.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I like it because you really get like the feel of all seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And fall is like my favorite time of the year, and up there looks amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful around the fall area. Well, I mean, all seasons. When it's summertime, when it's fall, then from fall to winter, and when it's gets cold and everything. And actually, this was this past year was the first year where it really didn't snow. It usually snows around the winter area, the winter time, but you didn't get any of that. So yeah, you get all different type of seasons up here around the Maryland, DC, Virginia area. I kind of miss it, but then I kind of don't. But then I kind of do. Oh, okay. But it's cool. And how old are you? I'm 38.
38. Okay, we in the same decade. I can rock with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How old do you feel?
I feel my age. Maybe a little bit younger. Despite the knees and everything.
Listen, let's not talk about these pop locking knees. Like, jeez. Yeah. You do not want to see my vitamin cabinet. It's legit. Like, the girl, I have everything. What do you need?
Yeah.
The knees and the back is.
Yeah. But I'm all right. I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Yep. God bless.
So, how many kiddos are you carrying?
1.
Uno.
Yes, uno.
Boy or girl?
Boy. 9-year-old. 9 years old.
I have no idea what that's like.
Yeah, it's an experience. It's an experience.
Oh man, a good one.
Oh yeah, great one. Great experience.
Yeah.
Beautiful experience. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Beautiful, loving experience. Consistency. A lot of nights, sleepless nights. A lot of nights a lot of mornings where you constantly thinking. A lot of nights where you constantly thinking. It's a lot. It's an adjustment, but it's a great adjustment. It's a great adjustment.
What is his personality like?
He's lovable. He's a nice young man. Laughable, funny. Very intelligent. I'm not just saying that because I'm his father, but he's intelligent for his age, and he's a bright bright young, bright young man. So, energetic, loves to play sports, into everything, family oriented, just a young, nice, well-rounded kid. So, like I said, I'm not just saying that because I'm his father, but,
Is there anything that he does that reminds you of yourself?
I would say the way he eats, probably.
How does he eat?
He's like a teenager. Like I said, he's only 9.
Man.
Yeah.
Where's the Costco card?
Yeah. His grandmother has it. So.
Geez.
Yeah. So that's personality. Mm-hmm. How he's able to kind of grasp certain things. How people, kids are able to kind of gravitate towards him, and he's, so I see those things, that I have, the same characteristics that is in me, the same thing that's in him. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is, I know Black fathers are very hardworking, and they step up for their kids when a lot of people don't. Why do you think that's not shown in like media, or what that's not shown in film, or that's not, put on blast as much as the negative aspects of Black fathers?
Well, I mean, I don't know if one is an agenda by media and by honestly, by systemic white society that are racist, to try to put that portrayal out as if Black fathers don't do what's need to be done, or don't go the extra mile, or 3 extra miles to do what's need to be done for the kids. Of course, we all know that, and of course, we all see that. So, but to the people that you may know, or that you may be around, you can probably name, 10 great fathers, off the top of your head that that are in their kids' lives, and that are working hard, and that are staying on course and doing what's needed to be done, for the kids. So I think a lot of it from that particular aspect from the media is is portrayed different, because it is an agenda to downgrade Black men, Black kids, the Black family. So you see that a lot. And I think that's a reason. The main reason why, that's being portrayed, or that's a particular narrative, which is not true, and it's never been true. So, shout outs to all the fathers that are breaking that narrative, and to the mothers that are assisting with that as well. So.
I think with like a lot of families changing, where it might be, fathers being like the single parent, the head of the household, and taking care of multiple kids and relatives' kids. I don't feel like that's portrayed on TV or film, and I feel like there's enough avenues of writers and producers for that to happen. I would just like to see it, because that does change like the mindset of people on other continents and countries, where they look at Black men as, oh, the media says you're this, so you have to be this. But if we start changing it, just like they see Black people on reality TV and think we're all that way, maybe if they saw us in a different light, that will slowly change. So I would love to see that, because I know there are a lot of fathers that really take on a mother and father role, but those fathers are not gonna, be like, man, you know what I do this. They're just gonna do it.
Exactly. It's just gonna be done, and it's nothing gonna be to where you're gonna hold a checklist of the things that you do. You just do it because those are your babies, and that's you want to see them shine. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's not about that. Men that are out there that's doing what they got to do, they're doing it because of the love.
Fatherhood changed my life because blank.
Fatherhood changed my life because I realized that there was someone that was looking up to me.
You don't have any younger siblings?
I do, but my younger siblings were kind of, you know, they were kind of in their own. You know, they were always independent in themselves and kind of had their own way that they always rode. You know what I mean? So they, you know, our father did a good job with, you know, making sure that we understood who we were and, you know, understood what it is that we wanted to accomplish or whatever it is we wanted to do in life. You know what I mean? So like my younger siblings, you know, they pretty much had their heads on. You know, we pretty much had our heads on.
Okay.
From a young age. You know.
So your son is like always looking. So that's why you felt that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, yeah, realizing that someone is pretty much I'm responsible for, and that's looking up to me, and you know that's going to need me throughout life. You know, so that's what. Yeah.
I think dads have a benefit, whether they're girls or boys, of creating like their best friend. Because moms is like, oh my God, that's my mom, I can't tell her this, or I don't want her to feel a certain way. And then dads, if you guys are like on like a honest level, a cool level, I got your back level, they'll tell you more, they'll be open more, and that's a good opportunity for you guys. That's why I'm just like, men that don't really hone in on that opportunity to build those bonds, like they don't understand what they're missing out on. Like that stuff is really good.
Yeah, absolutely it is. You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
My next question is a fill in the blank.
Okay.
My dad was blank growing up with him. I felt blank.
My dad was growing up with him.
So growing up with your dad was what as an experience? And how did you feel?
Growing up with my dad was, I guess, a complex experience because I didn't really start getting close to my dad until maybe I was a teenager.
Okay.
Like, why I can really like pinpoint when my dad actually like started sitting down with me and like having those like father-son talks and you know what I'm saying, was like, you know, there consistently. So it was kind of complex. You know, when I was younger, I really didn't see him a lot. I would see him, you know, sporadically. But as I got older and becoming into a teenager, and as well as my manhood, that's when I started really having the conversations and having a relationship with him more, and kind of really leaning on him from a son to father perspective or relationship. So yeah.
So how did he make you feel as a kid growing up?
Shit, my pop, I was shook at my pops when I was growing up, honestly. Like, I knew, like, you know, he was loving pops, but at the same time, he was, you know, he wasn't to be played with.
Yeah.
So he wasn't to be toyed with. So yeah, as a young, you know, a little bit shook when he used to come to the house or whatever. Like, no doubt about that. Like, you know, but yeah, as you know what I'm saying, as I got older, like I started realizing, like, you know, my pops was a really cool dude. You know what I'm saying? But he just didn't take any shit. And yeah, you know, he was just a pop that was about that. And, you know, like I said before, you know, he taught us, each and every one of us, you know, who we are, who we should be, you know, as young Black men, and you know, definitely made sure that we stood up for ourselves and hold our own and respect others. You know what I mean? So, and most importantly, is respect ourselves. So,
that balance is key in fatherhood and not in motherhood also, because I think a lot of mothers, you start to feel like a sucker because you cave in. I think that balance is key. I struggle with that all the time.
yeah.
Where I don't want my girls to feel like they just get things because they're cute or because they're girls and they act. So I always try to balance that out. Has your dad ever told you what he thought of you becoming a father or how you're doing in fatherhood? Have you had that conversation?
Yeah, we've had that. And my dad, he's been pretty good with, you know, discussing and talking with me and letting me know, you know, from his perspective of a father, how, you know, what I've been doing in fatherhood, and giving me, you know, tips, things that I can use, or things that you know that you should know, or things that you should be able to use when it comes to teaching or you know, being a father, you know, being a dad. So yeah, I mean, it's been a, like I said, it's been a ride. It's been a good ride.
I'm glad you have a dad that communicates.
Oh yeah.
Some dads from a different decade just like, you just gonna have to find out how I found out.
Yeah, but it was that type. But it was like I said, as I got older. But it was more so like when I was young. It was like, nah, this is what you're gonna do. And
yeah,
I want you to say something, or I want you to look a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, yeah, we went through that mode where it was like, okay, like any second he could put me through this wall. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, which all father, son, you know what I'm saying? You kind of go through that point. From what I've heard.
Okay.
But I don't love. I don't love.
Have you had any challenges so far, or what you felt like was a challenge being a father to your son?
Yeah, absolutely. The challenges that I've seen outside, the challenges internally that I battle within myself, I've wanted to be, you know, a great father, and wanted to continue to be consistent and you know, seeing the growth and being there for the growth and the upbringing in his life, or any other kids that I bring into this life, which, you know, I hope and pray to God. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know that's kind of, I don't know if they answered the question or not, but
I mean, it does. You know, I think what you said about consistency, as long as you're, you know, involved and not just, you know what, I see him when I'm supposed to see him, you know, like involved, it helps with those challenges because you guys get to know each other. You guys get to trust that, you know, what I told you, you'll put in action, so I don't have to like be on you about it. So, I think that's easy.
Yeah. So that just, you know, the challenge of being a Black man and having a son, always having to jump through the hula hoops or the stereotypes of what's being said or what's being portrayed. You know, that's very challenging.
Have you dealt with any like direct racism while with your son or trying to parent? Or notice, like, you know, this parent wasn't asked this and I was, or, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed it from an indirect perspective. Nothing something where it's been blatantly in my face, to where it's been like lashed out in front of my son, because Nah. Nah.
Listen, you just see me in Walmart. I'm just like, hey, your cart is too close. My child is right here.
Yeah. I can. I'm pretty aggressive when it comes to him, and when it comes to, like just the energy that people bring around him, or just I'm very protective and aggressive when it comes to him. So even if it was, which I thought maybe I've seen someone maybe look at him a certain way, like I'm pretty much on that. Yeah. But I'm gonna be that for all. I'm gonna be that for all my. That's just
That's good though that you experienced that, because then you have something to share with him. I think as he gets older, when you guys are not within the situation and y'all just like have like some downtime, you can probably be like, did you notice, earlier X, Y, and Z? He either gonna be like yes or no, and then you just like talk him through getting through that, because I think a lot of the blow ups with our boys are, them not knowing how to deal with those issues or communicate through people being indirectly racist, and just feeling like, oh my God, you make me mad, I want to like punch a hole through you. And just talking him through that process like that, I think will help a lot of kids not react so soon. Because I don't have any sons, but I talk to my nephews all the time about, how people say things, what they mean, what do you think they meant? There's so many slick ways to say something.
Yeah, and now you have to, just like I have that talk with him now about, and more frequently now because he's getting older, and just especially what's going on, current event wise. I talk to him and I let him know. It's about nowadays you have to watch what you say. You do, and watch what you're saying is one thing, but also, you have to watch how you say things as well too. I totally understand when it comes to free speech and stuff.
What free speech?
You know what I'm saying? But like nowadays, you just have to. You just have to. You know what I mean? You gotta know what to say, and you gotta watch how you say it. The tone of how you say things. You know what I mean? What you're saying. You know what I mean? Like it's the word.
I just feel so sorry for these kids now, because this lady called the cops on a group of boys that were playing football in the street. You don't have a field. You don't really have like a yard to play football with kids in the neighborhood. You telling me you can't play football in the street like normal kids did? And it's kind of like they don't really have a childhood. They can't really go anywhere during this quarantine. And she called the cops on them, and what happened was the two cops ended up playing with the kids in the street with the football. Like, stuff like that, like, depending on what a child's race is, you can play with this. Because your race is this, you can't play with that. Like, it's so ridiculous, but it's the reality of the situation. Yeah,
it is. It's fucking sad. It really is.
Yeah.
But this is the shit that our ancestors have been going through. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just sad that it's 2020. We, done with this bullshit.
Listen, I was just watching before I jumped on here with you. I was watching James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni having like the conversation on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's just like the topics they were talking about. I'm just like, so were you here last week? It's the same thing. It's the same issues. It's the same problems. It's the same feelings that they had, where they felt like they lived in a country that didn't care about them, or they, our men can't get ahead because of X, Y, and Z, and they come home and they, throw all their pressure onto the people that love them the most, and X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, I like watching stuff like that because it does teach you, but at the same time, I'm tired of like the rotisserie conversation. Like, where is the solution? Like, I want a solution now. I'm tired of talking about what was and what's still going on. So,
yeah. I know. I know people are tired, but you know what? Also like, I know. I get it. You're tired.
Yeah.
I know. Like, the ladies are tired. My girlfriend is tired about it. She don't want to hear. I totally understand it. Yeah. I do. But from a black, especially from a black male perspective, it has to be continuously shown. It can't be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? Like, the history of it, like how brutal the shit was. Like, I know it's a lot. Believe me, I know it is. But
then you have a orange man in office that wants to get another term that's purposely picking places where Black people were murdered and slaughtered to run his campaign on the exact date of those mass killings. Yeah. And people trying to tell me this man is not racist. Why are you picking these places in these dates?
You know why. Exactly. You know why.
So I'm just like,
absolutely not.
You know what? You ain't gotta be the smartest to connect four, but
bingo. Yeah. Exactly.
My next question for you is, when was the last time your kid made you feel warm and fuzzy inside? This is a safe place.
Fuzzy inside. Yeah, for Father's Day. I mean, all the time. You know, whenever he hugs me, whenever he runs and he jumps onto me. You know, even though he's big and he hurts my back. You know what I mean? He runs. He's like 3, but he's that. When things are hard and I'm going through what I'm going through, he continuously shows me the love. Regardless of what people may think about me, or regardless of what someone may have, work-wise, whatever, son done or whatever said, to see his eyes and his smile, and hug him, and for him to, that I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but that's.
No, I know how that feels.
Yeah, that makes me warm and fuzzy inside. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of like dealing with what you're dealing with, what is your form of decompressing before you see him or you interact with him or you come home? Like, how do you leave outside? Or do you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess, after work is over with, after everything else is over with, either by myself, chill out, may play a game, whatever. I will be honest, me and my lady, we have a really good relationship. So like, being able to talk with her, bounce ideas off her, her being able to, give me support, and help me out, or, whatever, that's very helpful. Just every day understanding that, I have to do what's needed by him, you know what I mean, for him. So yeah, I mean, the love that, he shows me, just like I said, the blessings, the prayers, that people, give, ask for God, or whatever, just those are what, keep me going every day to make sure that, I can do what's needed, for him, by him, my family members. So, yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. Fill in the blank. Being a dad is important because blank.
I could go. Being a dad is important because, you know, for one, this is a human being, a life that you've created, and it's so vital and it's so important to instill the good values and the love that that son is going to need, especially that black son. It's so important that we do what's necessary to carry our legacy, and our legacies are through them, and just making sure that we do what's right and teach them to be grown men and productive men in society, men that are going to take care of their families, they're going to take care of their their wives, or their ladies, their kids, their mothers, their fathers when our asses get old, just making sure that they are able to give back, to this world, and not only to this world, but to give back to their people, to their culture, to make it better for the next person,
Okay.
It's very important that us as fathers, do what's necessary, very important. And just like fathers that are, may have the same mind that I may have, or may not have the same mind that I have, that want to go, we all as fathers and black men want to go be able to be on for our kids. So anything that I'm saying or feeling, like, they'll feel the same way, because, they want what's best for their son, and they, want to make sure that their son has all the tools needed to be, to survive and to not only to survive, but to thrive, not only to survive, but just to thrive in this world, and to live whatever beautiful life they manifest within their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important.
You know what? I was just thinking, because I feel like fathers should be and are the first males that your child sees or interacts with. No one has ever done like a birth story from the male perspective, like from the point of, okay, this week she's due, this is where my mind is, this is what I'm doing to prepare, we at the hospital, up until you're actually meeting like your little human being. And I feel like just that perspective alone will help a lot of fathers understand the importance of being there and being involved in that process, and why the beginning of the bonding is so like prevalent and important throughout, how you guys interact and how you connect. So that would be something good to see. But I'm not a filmmaker or a director. I just think it would be something good to watch.
If you let me know if you know any that, I'm willing to share my story.
Yeah. Let's see. What things as a father make you reflect on your childhood when you see your son?
When I see him with my buddies I grew up with, or family members I grew up with, and I see him with their kids. I think that kind of always gives me a reflection of like how I grew up, or the way I grew up with, pretty much brothers that, I've, like I said, from the time I was young to now. When I see that, I'm like, oh wow, like that really hits me. Or there's times where I may go around to places that I grew up, and and I'm with him, I may reminisce or may have a nostalgic moment when I went back when I was younger, to when, I was walking around doing something and I'm with him, and, so that those certain things, those certain things kind of get me. Or like movies. When I'm watching movies with him, and, I remember like what I was doing back, when I was watching this movie.
They do not appreciate it. Listen, I tried to introduce my children to like all my favorite movies growing up. Mom, we don't want to watch this. This is boring. Yeah. But you want to sit there and watch Pokemon, and you want to tell me about the Pokemon. I don't want to watch Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah. He like hates the original Ninja Turtles. Like,
yeah. They will watch Tom and Jerry. I got them on that train. They will watch like Bugs Bunny, but I try to get them to watch Animaniacs, and they're just like,
yeah. But yeah, Animaniacs is like,
Listen. Yeah, I was like, all right. I was like, if you don't want to watch this, let's watch Gargoyles. What is a gargoyle? What is a gargoyle? I'm just like, oh, you guys are the worst. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This is good to reflect because it makes them connect you to also being human, not being like superhuman. Because I remember being a kid and feeling like my parents were superhuman because anytime I asked them a question, they had an answer. And it was like, they know everything. But then you get to a point where you're like, they don't know everything. They just knew more than me at the time. So it's good to reflect on that.
It is.
My next question for you is, do you feel appreciated as a father from your family?
Yes.
Or by your family?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
How do they make you feel appreciated?
I mean, by letting me know, or just, the support. Yeah, I mean, just the support. If I, if something I need to do something, or if I need, my family has been very supportive. I can't ask for a better family. Just the love, the prayers, the the times where I need to talk, or just, I need to go somewhere, or just, a few dollars, or, just anything, just, family has, very big and very supportive, and it is true to you. It takes a village.
It does.
Definitely does. It does.
Especially if you're a person that doesn't like asking for help.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
people who could read your body language are.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. Like I've had to like learn how to ask. It's okay to ask for help. You know what I mean? Like it's what I mean, especially when you like you're introverted, or it's just things where like it's just really hard for you to kind of come out and just say, like, when you have kids, the pride like this kind of thrown out.
Let's just put it this way. So my 6-year-old, I'll call her to ask her to like get me something. She was like, "Mom, what's wrong with your 2 feet? Why you couldn't get it?" So I'm just like, girl, you know why I had kids? When I found out I was having kids, I said, okay, my tax is about to be lit for a while. Second thought was, I don't have to get up and get my stuff anymore. I could just ask them to get it. So bring me what I asked you for. So we're very like transparent in here about, if I ask you to get something, just get it. If I call your name, answer me while you're coming. Don't wait until you see me, because I'm gonna be frustrated on why it took you so long. So it's all of like those little things that really let me know, like, if they do it without question, they appreciate it. But when you got 2 sassy girls, sometimes I'd be like, man, get the Vaseline. We about to go outside. But yeah, I'm just trying to like balance them out. But kids that can read you are super important.
Yeah, you're right.
Another fill in the blank for you. As a father, you should always show up for blank.
I show for everything. I mean, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, ain't really much like you can pinpoint, you know what I mean? You do your best to show up for everything,
And also, if you can't show up for everything, I think it's really important for you to be honest on why you couldn't show up. Because you don't want your child to grow up in a world thinking everything that someone says is going to happen, because life does happen. And that's the thing that really disappointed me about adulthood is, as a kid, you have this vision of like, man, I can't wait to be an adult so I can have this and I don't have to share this and I could go here. But nobody tells you have to pay for everything you got.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, man, I wish I was an 8-year-old and all I had to do is homework and I didn't have to pay the bills. But yeah, that reality. I was going to ask you who you depend on as support, but you already said that. My next question is, how do you show up for yourself as a dad? Let me explain.
Okay.
When you know you're doing your best and you're exuding greatness, but people act as if they don't see it, like how do you reward yourself for your efforts? Or you, like, maybe you worked 70 hours one week so your son can have this. Like, how do you reward yourself when those things may happen?
I don't know, honestly. I don't really. How do I reward myself?
Mm-hmm. So because I think fathers that really want the best for their kids, they might go really hard all the time, or go really hard for depending on what they want, so they can have it and also take care of the other things. But I think after they give it to the child, you guys really don't get a break because you feel like you got to go hard again just in case something else happens. So how do you like give yourself like a pat on the back for going so hard and actually meeting the deadline so they can have that thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the smile on their face, or I guess whenever he gets what he wants. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, as a father, like, your job is never done. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, I gotta get paid or whatever, and able to pay my bills, and, you know, maybe play a little bit of Call of Duty or something, or you know, I mean, you know,
so like for me,
girlfriend or something. I mean, other than that, I mean, you know.
For me as a mom, I set like goals for myself all the time for them, and then I'll get what they need to get done. And I was like, okay, now I don't have to feel selfish about doing this for myself because I got them out the way for this, and I can also take care of the rest of their needs. So it's kind of like you might do little things for yourself.
Oh yeah. See, now I'm gonna get me something. Like, I'm gonna go buy something, or get me something to eat, or you know what I'm saying, go hang up the phone. I'm gonna do something, like, you know what I mean, or have a few out. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've been there where I ain't had shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally nothing. And like, when I had shit, I literally didn't have shit, because when I got something in the bank, the shit was already taken out because of bills. So literally, like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like literally, pants beating off me every other week. You know what I'm saying? So like, now I make sure, you know, if I have a little something in my body, try to, you know, do something, or you know.
I think it's important, especially for dads, to not, you know, put so much on your back and make everybody else happy, and then you left yourself like all chipped up and scuffed up and needing like your own care. Yeah. Don't do that.
A lot of people do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's understandable.
My last one for you is, saying I love you to your kids is an everyday thing, right? How do you show up in love, and do you think you say to your son that you love him enough?
Okay. When I say it, you know, I mean, if I say it, you know, to somebody, I mean, I really mean it. And, you know, when it comes to my son or to whoever, you know, if I really present that, and if I say that, I mean that with every person, with every part of what God has created me or who I am. You know what I mean? So, with my son, I mean, from the time he was born, I've always told him that, you know, and I've always done my best with making sure that I show him that and I present that to him, because the last thing I would ever want for my youngin is to question my love for him. You know what I mean? Or any of my kids. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to understand that and to know that his father is supportive and he's there and he loves him. You know what I mean? And I don't ever want anybody, you know what I mean? That's something where I want to be concrete for him to understand that, for him to know that. So when I say it, I really mean it. You know, when I do it, you know, the things that I do it because I love him, you know? And I guess you really don't understand. I mean, I've heard people say, like, you understand love, but you really don't understand love until you have one of your own. That's like a different, you know what I mean? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. I always want to make sure that he understands that and he knows that, you know what I mean? And it's nothing that anybody, not nobody, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that anybody would, or I don't know, but nothing can come to where he doesn't know. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that grain in the back of his skull, in the front of his skull. Like, yeah, my daddy loves me. There ain't no denying that shit. You know what I'm saying? I already know. You know what I mean? So that's what it is for me. That's what it is for me. You know?
I think when you said nothing compares to like knowing love until you have a kid, it's the most selfless thing to have a child and then like take care of you in the future, because that's what it is when you have a kid. You're taking care of yourself in the future, because if they're great, then when you get to the point where you back into your childhood, because we have two childhoods, where we get old and we have needs like kids, your kid's supposed to take care of you. Yeah. Like for me, I hope there is no like nursing home for me, and I hope like one day they possibly have two homes I can visit and be at if I need to. But your kids are supposed to take care of you, and they are like your greatest investment. So really like pouring into them and making sure they feel love so they don't have to go search for it from somebody else is super important. And then to get it from the mom and the dad, that's even better. So that's really good. Well, sir, I think you got this fatherhood thing down pat.
I hope so. I don't know. I pray to God no one give me a textbook for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you just, you know, and every day this shit has been, you know, it's overall it's been a beautiful struggle. It's been a beautiful struggle. Like I said for the first part, you know, I wouldn't trade it. I would not trade it. Yeah, I mean it's been beautiful. There's been a struggle. Shit's been real. You know
it's like another layer of yourself that you would never have peeled back unless you had a kid.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things now that I would never do, but because I have kids, I do them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and yeah, it's like I said, it's just I'm still every day I'm going through this shit and I'm learning. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing no one can ever tell you. Like no one can give you a textbook for this shit. You know what I'm saying? No one can give you like a Rubik's for this. You know what I mean? Like a syllabus for this shit. Like it's, you know, you just do your best. You just love it.
But if you think about it, they could never, because it's always updating. It would have to be something digital. Like
yeah, it is.
Did you upgrade? There's a child 6.0. They do this now.
Yeah.
Like
you know.
your kids are gonna keep you young, so that's good.
Yeah, they are. So, I enjoy every minute of it. and it's a blessing. It definitely is. It's a blessing. So
I love it.
About every day.
Can you tell the people where to reach you, where to find you?
Well, like I said, thank you again for having me. Present this interview and share my piece. Be able to share my story. About being a father and a man first. But in this where we live in a black man, but just being able to tell my story, I appreciate it. I really do. But yeah, you can I'm on Twitter. You can check me out at LTR Quan on Twitter. I am also one of the co-hosts of OTR.
Yes, come on, love.
Yeah.
Yes.
And our show is pretty much the same alley. We're doing some good things, and being able to be a voice and use our platform for what's going on out here. We have all different type of segments. So if you get a chance,
I love y'all's show because it's all of you guys with different perspectives and experiences, pouring into the same topic. So it's kind of like, if I wanted to take a survey, I don't have to. I could just listen to the episode and just get 4 different men talking about this and just seeing overall, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? And it just keeps, I hope that you guys check your analytics, but I'm sure there's a certain amount of women that listen to the show because, just like sometimes men would like to know what women be on, women want to know what men be on and what you guys dislike and all of that, because I think overall that understanding is going to make us better. So yes, please go check out OTR podcast.
Yes, please do. I know four of us, we have we're 4 young black men with intelligent minds. We're beautiful minds, different, quirky at the same time. We all have different characteristics. I know. Like I said, I'm one of the co-hosts. And yeah, the show is beautiful. And the good thing about it is that we've been great friends, and we've been brothers, since we've been young. And we all like-minded, but we all different, but we all like-minded. And like I said, you gotta get 4 different perspectives. And we just want to continue to put good content, great content out. And we're just thankful for you and as well as all the other viewers. And we're gonna take this thing black. We're gonna keep pushing, and we're gonna keep doing what we got to do and everything for ourselves and for our coaching, and for our community.
Agreed. I'm in there like Foursquare.
All right,
you guys are listening to Cozy Women Podcast, and this is Quan from OTR Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
See, that was easy. We in there like Foursquare.
That was.
Thank you guys for supporting Cozy Women Podcast. My name is Shan. When you listen, you support. And I just want you guys to know that I am thankful and I'm grateful. And when you listen, you support myself, you support my daughters. When you buy anything from Cozy Womb Shop, you support. And I appreciate it. You could have picked any podcast and you're here. Please visit us on Cozy Womb on Facebook, Cozy Womb Pod on IG, Cozy Womb Pod on Twitter. I would love to hear from you. And I hope you guys have another teachable day, another productive day, and you just keep things in motion. I know things feel very weird right now with this quarantine going on, but we can do it. Peace. Bye.
Bye.